So I'm here today to talk to you about what it really takes to build a successful business. So I'm Becky Sims. I'm founder and CEO of Reflect Digital. We're a digital marketing agency based in Maidstone in Kent, and we've been going for 11 years now. Now we sit as part of the Lab Group, so about nearly 3 years ago we joined the Lab Group, which is a group of agencies founded on the idea of using human behaviour and psychology throughout the strategies to help supercharge the work we do. So there's other agencies within the group, and as a group our mission is around using pioneering research into human behaviour to advance brands in a way that digital and creativity alone cannot do. So we employ about 30 people across Europe, and today I want to share that story with you of how we scaled from zero to over 2.6 million in revenue as Reflect Digital. So let's go all the way back to the start. Why are we here? Well, this is me age 2, and I was pretty cute, and I was really lucky. I had my dad running his own business, and he used to run it partly from home, which actually I suppose back then was quite radical, because that's a very modern thing to do now. And he was running his business from home, and I just wanted to be like my dad. Like, as young as I can remember, I used to pick up his briefcase and pretend I was going off to work, and I was just obsessed with it. So I'm really lucky. That's my parents on screen. I had them as an amazing inspiration. And then I'm even more lucky because I now run Reflect Digital with my own husband, Paul. So the two of us, and it's not just the two of us, it's our amazing team that mean that I'm just so very, very lucky in everything I do. But when I was young, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I didn't have a clue, other than this fact that I knew I wanted to run a business, but I had no idea what the business would be. I didn't want to run my dad's business. I didn't really know. So I kind of went on this journey of trying to work out what it could be, because I knew it had to be something that I loved, something that sparked excitement in me, something that would make me get out of bed each day and want to go and work. So I finished my A-levels, and I had this plan to get out there and just start working, like find some jobs that sounded interesting to me and to start learning. And experience showed me what I loved and also what I didn't. And I think that was really important. And I'll probably come back to this again later on, but I do think that's one of the best things about when you start to get experience and you start to put yourself out there. And I guess the key thing is if you're watching this as a student, you can start gaining that experience now, partly from your part-time jobs. Like, you can still look at those and understand what skills within them that you enjoy and what you like doing, but also go out there and get work experience. Even if it's not paid for work experience, it's so invaluable for setting that direction of where you want to go. And I did this until I was ready to take the plunge. So I job hopped. So if you looked at my early CV, I was one of those people that kept changing jobs because I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And eventually I got to the point where I'd fallen in love with digital. I'd fallen in love with working in an agency. I'd ended up doing this role where I was servicing customers and I was helping them with their challenges. And I decided that that was the business that I wanted to start. And I guess maybe this is a good point to just make sure that everyone watching this knows what an agency is. So as an agency, we exist to support our clients, and we want many different clients in many different industries, but you'll have some agencies that are super specialist and work with just maybe one sector. But we're there to be their support when it comes to creativity, running campaigns. You'll have agencies that can build things for you. It's all those different things that maybe it's not a full-time resource that you need in-house, but you want an agency and you want their creativity, that access to a team of people that can come up with ideas for you and help market your business. So we started from my tiny flat, and everyone was working out of my flat to begin with, and we moved on to our amazing office based in Kent now. So what does it take? That's what I'm here to talk to you about today. Well, firstly, it's passion. You have got to love what you do. And I think that was the thing for me and why I job hopped, because I was trying to find different things. And it was weird when it clicked into place, when I started working in a digital agency and learning about Google and how the internet worked. And this was back in the mid-2000s. So it was a really exciting time as the internet was really coming up. And I just found my passion. I loved it. I wanted to talk to everyone about it. I just wanted to learn more. And you've got to have drive. you've got to be someone that can push yourself to want to do more, to pick yourself back up again when you've got a bad day, and to go, no, I can dust myself off and we can go back at it again tomorrow, because you need that drive. And you've got to have that commitment. So commitment's really linked to drive as well. But I remember it's obviously got better as we've grown and we've got a bigger team, and I've got so many amazing people I can rely on now to run the business. But in the early days, you can't have a holiday properly. You can't turn off fully, maybe for a few hours here and there, but it's really hard to do because you've got to stay committed, and it is your world. And you need to have an awesome team, and this is something that is a really exciting part of building a business, as you start to be able to find amazing talent to bring them into your team and to help nurture them, and to learn from them as well, because they'll bring skills in that you don't have and things that you want to learn and you know are really important to your business. And you've got to have this ability to problem solve, so be able to think outside of the box and think about what it is that you could do to fix whatever it is that comes at you, and you won't ever know what's coming. I think that's the exciting thing about running a business. No 2 days are ever the same. And you've got to be creative with that, and that's not creative as in artistically creative, I'm terrible, but creative in that problem solving, being able to think about the answers and the ways that you might get around things. And to be able to get your hands dirty. And I think that's something that to me is really important in our business, that I want people to know that I'm willing to get my hands dirty and support them in any way I can, because that helps build trust and it helps them see that you're committed to the business as well, especially as the business grows. So we at Reflect Digital are in the top 1% of all agencies. So there's thousands of agencies within the whole of the UK and the world, but only 1% of those ever make it past £1 million revenue. It's a big thing. There's lots of small agencies. So it's a really amazing thing that we've been able to do that. And one of the reasons I think is because we challenge the norm. We don't try and stick with just how to do things and sticking with what everyone else is doing. And one of the best ways that we did that was back in 2018, we introduced our 4-day week. So this is great, and you'll hear more and more people talking about this now. It's been on the news again earlier this year. The 4-day week, is it the revolution that everyone's looking for? Well, it was for us. It was a really great way of shaking things up and changing how we work. And we were trailblazers doing it before many other businesses back in 2018. So I'm going to give you now just 5 common startup mistakes. So these are just some things to look out for. So if you're sitting there thinking, I can't wait, I want to go and run my own business. So these are things that people commonly come up against, and I'll share some of my experiences as well. So there's this tightrope that you walk, and you walk it for many years. We still sometimes are walking it around when to hire. Hiring too early or not early enough, because you need the support. You can't do everything on your own, but also you need the revenue, and it's a real balance. And I think the key thing here comes into some of that problem solving and that creativity of, well, could you get a freelancer in to help? Or when's the right time to make a decision? Have you just had a contract signed that gives you some stability that makes it feel less like you're on that tightrope? But it's a really important one to watch out for. Not having a clear proposition. So it's really important that you know what your business stands for and what it is that you do and why people should buy from you. And some businesses miss that a little bit, and that is really important. Not having clarity on the numbers. So this isn't just the finances, and that's something that was a big learning curve for me. When I started the business, I'd had no formal training other than maths at school. I had no formal training in how to run accounts for a business. So part of it is understanding that, but it's also what other numbers do you need to know about in your business. So when you're running an agency business, it's really important that you can look at the number of team members that you've got and their capacity, and how many of them are sitting there with no work to do, and how you can fill that time. And there's lots of different data that we have sitting on dashboards that's so important to us. But it's knowing what numbers to look for and trying to make them leading indicators rather than looking at them when it's too late and you've already got a problem. Not valuing your services. So this is an interesting one, especially as you're growing. It's really hard in those early days to put prices out, and especially as an agency, we often charge things by the hour. So when you're brand new, trying to put a price on things and compete with maybe where you used to work, where you know they're a great big business, and how do you get their hourly rate right? But you need to value your services, and you need to do that competitive research to understand where you are in the marketplace and make sure that you're offering value to your customers in what you're charging them. And then also not having an experienced advisor. So obviously I alluded to at the start the fact that my dad was an amazing inspiration for me, and he has been an amazing advisor across the years. But actually his experience in agencies was none. So he could give me lots of business experience, but I really lacked in maybe the first 5 years or so of running Reflect. An agency advisor, someone that actually had been there and done it before, and that could show me that some of these challenges were normal, etc., etc. So having someone that's been there and walked in the shoes that you're wanting to walk in, and being able to talk openly with them and take their advice, or at least just listen and absorb it and create your own pathway, is really important. So my top tips, so they were kind of the 5 things to look out for, but my top tips: have fun. It is so important. You spend most of your life at work. You've got to love what you're doing. And now sitting here today, watching this talk, if you're a student thinking about your future, get excited about it and get excited about looking into the opportunities that you've got out there. Think differently. So being able to think outside the box and do things that others aren't doing is really important. Getting your ducks in a row early. So actually, as you're building the business, it can be really easy to not put process in, because you're like, yeah, we're going along with it and making it happen. But actually, the earlier you can kind of nail down some of your processes, the easier it will be when you onboard people, and also the less that you're going to have to go back over things at a later date and almost try and rehash putting them back into the business. So trying to be as organised as you can from a process point of view as early as possible is a really good thing to do. Cash flow is hard. This was a big lesson for me. I'd never been involved in the finance side of things before, and I, as naively as it turns out, when we started the business, sent invoices out and expected people would just pay them and pay them on time. They don't always do that. Some of them do, but they don't. So cash flow was a really hard lesson for me, because actually it really affects things. And the last thing you ever want is to be in a position where you've hired people and you can't pay their salaries. That never happened to us, but whoa, did we get close sometimes in the early days, because people make it difficult for you. Businesses don't pay on time because probably someone's not paid their bills on time. So understanding cash flow and having a plan and having access to cash is really important. So being able to get some funding. Differentiate yourself. We've mentioned proposition. I've talked about thinking differently. Try and have a differentiator. Make yourself stand out. Remembering that you set the weather in the business. So this was an interesting thing that I probably didn't learn till about year 6 in the business, which was quite late to really, I think, when it really hit home. But just remembering that your attitude, how you're feeling, it rubs off on people. Maybe a bit less so in the more hybrid age where you're not necessarily in contact with everyone. But when you're in an office every day, if you're in a bad mood, you're going to make other people in a bad mood. So actually, the reason this came to the forefront was we were having a bit of a difficult time at one point, where we just had a run of losing some deals that we were hoping to win. And it really hit hard, because it just does sometimes. But actually, you've got to put a front on. You've got to pick yourself back up, because you're bringing everyone else down. So really important that you set the weather in the business. Practice what you preach. Whatever it is you're telling the team they should be doing, do it yourself. Get out there, push yourself. This is me on stage at Brighton SEO. It's something I do actually love doing. But if you want others to do things, you've got to be a role model for them. Create a culture that others want to emulate. So we talked about our 4-day week. We're trying to create a place that people love to come to work. I've worked in places that I didn't like, and I had that Sunday dread where you think, oh, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. Create something where you've got others trying to follow what you're doing. You're leading the pack. You're creating somewhere that's different, that people love and value. And agree shared values. So thinking about, and this is something you should do with your team as you grow and you've got more people in your team, think about what it is that the business values and what every employee that you want to work for you, what they should care about. So I won't go into detail, but we've got 3 main values within Reflect Digital, and that's the fact that we're a family, and that's all about how we work together. the fact that we love our craft, so we're really into what it is that we do, and we really deeply care about SEO and paid media and customer experience, and that we're going for gold. We're always trying to push ourselves to deliver the best results we can for our clients. And we hire and fire on these. So it's really important when we're hiring people that we look for these values, and we try and find ways in the questions that we ask to bring it out to see if that's something that they care about. And then if when they arrive in the business and you're in that probationary period, or over that first kind of 6 months, a year, keep an eye out for it, because you need them to live those values, because that is how you're going to ensure that you're delivering the right work for your clients in the right way. Have a clear vision, know where you want the business to go, and that can change over time, but make sure you then articulate it. So our vision, well, our purpose is to create a great company that helps people and organisations grow. And our mission is to leave a wake of digital enlightenment and to help everyone take the next step. So make sure you've got something that's as easy as that to sum up. And get buy-in from the team. Don't just tell them, get them excited about it, get them to believe in it. And be really open to feedback. And feedback's hard. It's still 11 years in, I still get feedback sometimes that I find difficult. But you've got to take it and you choose what you do with the feedback. But feedback is so important, and having that open door that people can talk to you at any time and tell you what they need to tell you. And then it's your choice how you act on that. And look after yourself. As I've probably made relatively clear throughout, it is hard work. You have to put a lot of hours and effort into running a business. It is consuming. It really will take your emotions on a roller coaster. So you have got to look after yourself. If you're not putting yourself first and making sure that you're healthy and happy as well, you're not going to be able to do best for the business. And be your favourite boss. So I have my favourite boss in my head, Phil. I always want to be like Phil, because he motivated me. He made me want to come to work. He made me want to be the best that I could be. And yet I've got other bosses in my head that I think, oh, I could never be like them, and I'd never want to be like them. So back at the start when I said gaining experience is really important, unless you have that experience, it's really hard to set those barometers, because you don't have a Phil in your head as being your best, or whoever it is that's your worst. So it's really important to have someone that you can look up to that really inspired you, that you can use as your metric of where you want to be. And focus on being your best you. Do what you need to do. I know that I'm best if I'm getting time to exercise, so I will make time to do that in my diary, because I'll be better for it. My team will have a better Becky come to work. And work with specialists. So this was again something that over the years we started off, for example, our accountants were local accountants. They were lovely, but actually we found that there was an accountancy practice that specialised in agencies, and wow, they were so much better for us. They were just understood our business. They could give us the right advice. They had loads of case studies and could really help us grow our business. So in all aspects, wherever you can work with someone that's specialist, it's probably going to cost more, but it's going to be really useful for you. And continue to learn. Every day is a school day. Every day you can learn something new, be that going to events, reading books, furthering your education. You might choose to go back and learn more at a later date, but just continue to learn and be aware that you will never know it all. And surround yourself with good people, and that's not just at work. Obviously, I've talked about hiring good people. That is important, but outside of work as well. You'll find actually as you go on a journey of running a business that some friends maybe don't come with you on that journey. Maybe they're not so interested. They've got different priorities, or maybe they find it hard to kind of understand what it is that you're going through. But surround yourself with good people that do care, and they do understand, and they do want to listen, because you need people that you can lean on. And remember the power of thank you. It's not all about the package and the money that you deliver to people. That is important, but remembering to value your team and to say thank you for the hard work that they do. And on that note, I want to say thank you for listening, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love some feedback. And if there's anything we can ever do to support you, then connect with Reflect Digital or Aspiration Digital.